Roland Peralta, to be followed by Tufani Miranda, then by Ramirez, Lovely, Donatos. After Donatos, you have Stotsky, Galang, Tabaw, and so on.
Yes, Doc, I hope that my screen can be seen now.
Yeah, we can see your screen. We can see you also.
Okay, that's good. Thank you so much, Doc. Well, anyways, good afternoon, everyone. And before I start, I would like to apologize earlier with what happened with the audio. I hope that there are no eardrums being um, disturbed that much earlier. So I'm very sorry. Anyways, my task today actually is to present to you the discussion part for the leadership and management, the first part of the module. And well, our objectives for this session, not seminar, but for the session. And let's start with the contents first. So we will have a walkthrough for this. We'll start with the definition of terms for the leadership and management. And then the next are the key concepts. Just a short review on basic concepts of the leadership and management. And then we will use more time in analyzing these research studies from Mullen and Calloway and Wang and Liu. These two researchers are from abroad, and then two local researchers that I found from Martinez and Pepito in 2024 and Zabala in 2021. So that would be the flow of our discussion for today. Well, here's some definition from some authors about leadership. And according to Maxwell, leadership is influence, nothing more and nothing less. It's very short. And from Davis, leadership is the process of encouraging and helping others to work enthusiastically towards their objective. And I would like to emphasize on the definition of North House because I think it embodies the two definition, which is leadership refers to the process of influencing and guiding individuals or groups towards achievement of goals. Now, it involves vision, motivating people, and fostering an environment conducive to success. When I was reflecting, when I asked myself, what is my definition of leadership, and I reflected on my experiences, it's really difficult to find the perfect definition of what is leadership. But it's clear here that a leader has a vision. He leads the people to that vision. Now we also have to define management. And according to Taylor, management is the art of knowing what you want to do and then seeing that you do it in the best and the cheapest way. I guess most of the people from the who works from the government here would understand what does it mean when you choose the cheapest way. When we find our resources, we always choose the cheapest way. Anyways, the other one from Aptly, management is the art of achieving goals done through the efforts of others. So there is an element of collaboration here. So Robinson in 2020 defined management as coordination or an organization of activities in an organization to achieve defined objectives. So what will be your actions? That's the focus of the management. It encompasses planning, organizing, leading, and controlling resources. Well, if you will try to distinguish the two, though they are interconnected, these two terms, leadership and management, are really different from one another. Leadership focuses on the visionary role, while the management focuses on obtaining order and ensuring that the day-to-day operations are aligned with the goals. Earlier, Ms. Zani have mentioned about our school when we started. Just a disclaimer, I'm still new with the management thing. So we started from scratch. And, when you say there's a leader, it's very easy to envision something. Like, for example, okay, this is the name of the school. But when you look on the nitty gritty parts of, let's say, preparation for the name of the company or the school, there are a lot of processes already that you have to deal with. Like, for example, the suitability of the name, the terms that you will be using there, the business name, getting the permit, DTI, and so on. So that would be the part of the manager on how to plan out in order for you to achieve that goal. Well, yeah, that's it. And some basic concepts, just a little review. There are styles of leadership, and as I checked most of the literature, these are the two common things. We have the transformational leadership and the servant leadership. The transformational leadership focus on the organization, the essence of leading, charisma, let's say, allegiance for the organization, while servant leadership focuses on individuality, your inclination to serve, allegiance not to the organization but to the individuals. And instead of charisma, you use your service. So that's a servant leadership. But I saw in one of the diagrams that these two concepts could be combined. The transformational servant leadership, wherein you combine the two concepts, wherein you can focus the needs of the individual and as well as the organization. You can also go to serving while leading, and individual allegiance not just to the organization, but there are also allegiance for individuals. Aside of charisma, having the charisma, there's a research later that I will show you about charisma. Um, Service as well. You have also influence through service. And then the followers experience a blend autonomy and guidance in specific direction. So again, that's transformational and servant leadership, one of the common styles of leadership. Earlier as well, in the definition of management, we have these four terms: planning, organizing, leading, and controlling, which are basic functions of management. Planning, establishing objectives and determining the course of action, like for example establishing your sub goals in order to get the main goal of the organization. Organizing, arranging resources to implement the plan, what are the resources that we need, the manpower, services, and so on. Leading, directing, and motivating staff to achieve organizational goals. One thing that I was surprised while I was browsing some of the literature, leading as well is part of managerial jobs. So leading could lead to directing and motivating staff. Controlling, monitoring progress, and making necessary adjustments. Definitely, as you try to achieve your goals, there would be mishaps or maybe humpers or maybe problems along the way. And one of the skills that a manager should have is their ability to control things. So monitoring the progress and making adjustments if there are things needs to be adjusted. Well, one thing that is common to these two things are as emotional intelligence, whether it's leadership or management. Emotional intelligence should be there. Self-awareness, the resources that we have, or self-regulation, the rules that we have, what are our limitations, motivation as well, the driving force for us to go through or to push through, social skills, the use of communication to interact with our environment, And empathy. I think this is the most important part. Empathy, feeling or able for you to feel what others feel as well. So it's very important. And in some literatures, I read that this is the most important part, able for you to connect the emotional part or able to connect to your employees or maybe to the people who works with you. It's very important as well. So again, emotional intelligence is what one thing that blankets the two terms here, leadership and management. Now, for the related studies, one thing that I found is from Mullen and Calloway in 2020, where leaders who exhibit transformational qualities. So their research focused on transformational leadership, such as inspiration, intellectual stimulation, individualized consideration, tends to foster higher levels of engagement among employees. So the higher the inspiration that they give, the higher the motivation that they add, the higher level of engagement among employees. Analysis suggests that transformational leader enhance employee motivation and commitment by creating a supportive work environment. So work environment is also important to ensure that motivation and commitment is with the employees, which encourages employees to invest more in their roles. So the more that you enhance their motivation and commitment, the more the employees would invest more in their roles. Now, as a short reflection, organizations aiming to boost employee engagement should consider developing transformational leadership skills within their management teams. So, this, let's say, skills that the leaders have should be downgraded as well to the management teams. Maybe for me, as I reflect, because the management team works with with the workers or the employees or or or, or the people who works for them. So it's very important that they also have the skills to collaborate with them. Wang and Liu in 2021. Servant leadership. This time, Wang and Liu in 2021 focused on servant leadership, the other type of the leadership. Significant enhanced organizational citizenship behavior or OCB by promoting an environment where employees feel valued and supported. When we say OCB, these are skills that cannot be found in the resume or the job description. Like for example, um, what kind of skills? Greeting your neighbor, your colleagues, or maybe cooperating with them. So it's not really part of your job description. However, when you have this behavior, it improves the environment and your effectivity as well as a worker. And study identifies several moderators, including the leaders and perceived organizational support, which facilitate the relationship between servant leadership and OCP. And then as a reflection, fostering a culture of service-oriented leadership organizations can encourage voluntary behaviors among employees. So volunteership actually is also as one of the behavior that could also improve the work environment. Next one, some researches in the Philippines starting with Martinez and Pepito in 2024. I would like to focus on the education side since that's my line of work. And according to them, adaptive leadership is essential for navigating challenges like policy reforms and resource constraints. And then collaborative decision making emphasize the importance of inclusive leadership that fosters participation among stakeholders. In the education, actually, in the framework of Epstein, collaboration with stakeholders in the school and the family as well is very important to make the processes in the school effective and efficient. Visionary leadership recognized as vital in inspiring innovation within schools. And strategic resource management is identified as crucial for promoting innovation through effective resource allocation. One of the problems that we have, especially in public schools or state universities, are the allocation of budget. Me, for example, I have worked in a before I have worked in a far-flung school, wherein there are just 7 teachers, and it's very difficult to really work with the budget that you have in school because they base it on the number of teachers and students. So the less students that you have, the less resources that you get, and that's where the challenge gets in. How will you juggle the limited resources that you have versus other factors like the price hike, the instances like, for example, the weather, that you need to cut another budget just to address some problems in school. Zabala in 2021 focused on leadership styles practiced by administrators in local universities and colleges. And charismatic and command and control leadership styles showed significant differences based on provincial groupings. And according to Zabala, charisma has something to do. It's like a magnet that you pull people to listen to you. So it's maybe one of the qualities that a good leader have, and that is charisma. The study emphasized the need for leaders to adapt their leadership style to various circumstances to enhance team relationship. And I guess I agree to this because there's, as I said earlier, there's no perfect definition to say that that is the perfect leader or the perfect manager. I guess when to say that that's an effective leader and that's an effective manager, one of the qualities, I guess, to say that they are effective is that they are able to adapt with their environment, and from that they will be able to uplift the organization and the people in there as well. And well, with that being said, I would like to still have 3 minutes. I would like to share this quotation from Stephen Covey, which is management is efficiency in climbing the ladder of success, while leadership determines whether the ladder is leaning against the right wall. Because if there is no direction in the organization being envisioned by the leader, the efforts of the people working in the organization being led by the manager would be useless. So I guess the leadership and management should, well, these are two distinct things, but they should work hand in hand to make uh, to reach the goals of the organization. With that being said, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Peralta. So, you presented on leadership, the management, and the manager. Question: what do you want us to address, Mr. Peralta? Mr. Peralta is a good leader or Mr. Peralta is a good manager? Which one sounds better for you?
I would like to work with people, so I prefer that I would like to be in the managerial part. I've been working with the community actually, so
That
I
is why
really
my
like to work with
question
people.
is, what do you want? What is better for you to hear? That Mr. Peralta is a good leader or Mr. Peralta is a good manager?
I guess a leader, a leader in this case, a
Of
leader.
course, of course, it will be easier to manage and become a manager if you are a good leader. But a
Yes,
manager may not be a very good leader.
yes, indeed,
But
that's
a
true.
leader usually can become a good manager because he can
Mhm.
lead people and people will work according to what assignment
Sila
given
yung
by the leader. Okay.
sila yung
Now we will go
mapapromote.
to the next one.
Dito, nasa
Thank you.
We'll present the two other topics. Mr. Miranda. Sorry. Not Mr. Miranda. Giovanni Miranda. Okay.
Hi, Doc. Good afternoon. Let me share my screen first.
Tapos, sige, miss. Nandito pa ako. Nag-check natin.
So, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Sila balagtas. Hindi, mababait naman, ha?
Okay, so I will continue the discussion on the basic concept of executive management for the topics development and professional.
Sige.
So here's my outline. I will discuss first development, followed by professional. And here is our objective to explore the importance of executive development in fostering effective leadership and organizational growth. Second, to highlight key aspects of executive professionalism, including ethical leadership, decision making, and best practices for maintaining high performance.
Gagas. Sa lahat ng subject ko, puro plot 1
So,
ako.
what
Yan
is
ang point
development?
1 ko.
When we say development, it is an advancement or growth. Generally, the term development describes good change. And three ways that the term development is used. First, as a vision. The term used to describe how desirable an outcome can become. A second, as a historical process. This refers to social change that occurs over the periods of time. And as an action.
Sige.
This refers to deliberate action change things for the better. So, in addition, executive development refers to the programs, activities, and process designed to enhance the knowledge, skills, and abilities of executives and prepare them to meet the challenge of their current future roles. So, development helps executives to sustain in dynamic and competitive environment, as well as to ensure competent staff at all levels and develop leaders and executive career growth. So another definition here, when we say executive development, it's an ongoing process. It's continuous. So according to Peter Drucker, an institution that cannot produce its own managers will die. From an overall point of view, the ability of an institution to produce a manager is more important than its ability to produce goods efficiently and cheaply. So another one here from Flipo, executive development includes the process by which managers and executives acquire not only skills and competency in their present job, but also capabilities for future managerial tasks of increasing difficulty and scope. Another one from Johnson and Sorcher, um, management development focuses on developing in a systematic manner the knowledge base, attitude, basic skills, interpersonal skills, and technical skills for managerial portray. So, executive development is very important because it helps leaders, managers who face cutthroat competition, face problems related to technology and institution, um, better relations with the leaders, to understand and adjust to changes, and to have broader outlook. So, how does executive development happen in the organization? First is on the job training. So, the employees get trained while doing their day to day job. Second is from a real work environment by facing challenges and situations and solving them under the guidance of a much superior and experienced employee. That's on the job training, and now is the off the job training. So, off the job training is imparted when new job skills and knowledge is to be taught to the employees. So, there might be classroom sessions and trainers from outside the organization to train the employees. So this is the methods of executive development for on-the-job uh, techniques. We have job rotation, coaching, understudy, committee assignment. For off-the-job techniques, we have meeting and lectures, special courses, case studies, role-playing, and sensitive training. Contemporary organizations have realized the importance of human capital and increasingly finding its necessary action to continuously train and develop human resources. So here is the executive development process. First, evaluate the developing programs, establish training and development program. Um, they do planning, individual development. We appraise the present managerial talent. And lastly, we analyze the development needs. So, executive development leads to professionalism. So, professionalism in the executive aspects refers to conduct, qualities, and behaviors that are expected of an executive or a senior leader within an organization. It encompasses the way executives manage themselves, lead others, and make decisions in a manner that reflects integrity, competence, and responsibility. So here is the effective professionalism. It is critical for several reasons. First is for effective leadership. Executives lead organizations through their vision, communication, and decision making. Second is organizational reputation. Executives reflect on the organization's brand and public image. Third is the ethical decision making. Executives adhere to ethical standards that align with organizational values and legal requirements. Um, Last, strategic success. Executives plays a vital role in strategic planning and implementation. So how executives professionalism develops. So we already mentioned before the on-the-job training and the off-the-job training. So this is an additional education and training. So executives usually undergo formal education. So in the business aspect, they have master's and doctorate degrees or education. But for others, they have a they enroll special courses in finance, marketing, and management. And second is experience. Professionalism is cultivated through experience. Executives develop skills like decision making, crisis management, and strategic planning as they progress in their careers. Next is mentorship. Mentors provide guidance, share knowledge, and model professional behavior. Next is the ethical standards and corporate governance. Executives are often required to follow codes of conduct and uphold transparency and accountability. And the next is um, the continuous learning, staying up to date with industry trends, emerging technologies, and involving management practices ensures executives remain relevant and professional in their roles. So here is executive professionalism is characterized by several key elements. First is leadership and vision. So executives demonstrate professionalism by providing clear direction, motivating teams, and inspiring others to work toward a shared vision. Next is ethical conduct. Professionalism in the executive aspect requires a commitment to ethical behavior, honesty, and transparency. Transparency. Executives are expected to uphold the organization's values. Third is the decision-making competence. Executives need to make informed, data-driven decisions. Fourth is the emotional intelligence. Um, Executives should be self-aware, uh, should have an empathy, should know how to effectively communicate, and to have the ability to navigate complex interpersonal dynamics. Fifth is accountability and responsibility. Executives should be willing to accept responsibility for both successes and failures. Next is continuous learning and adaptability. Professional executives recognize the need to stay current in the industry, adapt to change, and continuously improve their skills. Seven, effective communication. Executives must be able to convey strategic plans, provide guidance, and represent the organization externally with clarity and confidence. And then lastly, a strategic focus on vision. Executive professionalism involves thinking strategically, setting long-term goals, and understanding how various businesses functions contribute to overall success. So according to Peter Drucker and Henry Mintzberg, executive professionalism as the ability to is the ability to integrate leadership, strategic thinking, and decision-making capabilities while upholding high ethical standards. It involves maintaining accountability, adaptability, and continuous learning to align with the organization's vision and stakeholders' expectation. In summary, executive development is a systematic process of learning and growth by which managerial talent gain and apply knowledge, skills, attitudes, and insights to manage the work in their organization effectively and efficiently. And then professionalism in the executive aspects involves ethical conduct, strong leadership, decision-making competence, emotional intelligence, accountability, effective communication, and a focus on strategic objectives. These qualities ensures that executives fulfill their roles in guiding their organizations effectively while upholding the highest standards of conduct. And this is my reference. So I would like to share something. Um, I used to work in the bank before I entered the academy, and I can say that having executives or leaders in the organizations whose background or whose discipline is management is better than those who do not have background in management. So um, those whose discipline is management, they are proactive, they are futuristic, and most of all, they can control themselves because I've met leaders who have multiple degrees in masters, multiple degrees in doctorate, but they do not know how to treat people in the organization. The development in our organization is continuous every time. We don't even have um, uh, sometimes we don't have time to do our work because there's a lot of development trainings and and but then not all become professionals. Um, Not all become professionals. So they're like, yes, they are professionals, um, but not really professionals because they are just people, based on my experience, are that they traumatized their employee. Um, I don't know, maybe they were not able to enroll in executive management subject during their doctorate degree. And I know that there is no perfect leader, yes, but based on my experience, there are really executives who attack the person, not the loopholes of the systems, and it's traumatizing because they just say whatever they want to express themselves. So that's my um, that's my reflection that um, I hope uh, I I hope that I can met leaders in the future. So really is professional. And for me, an executive should possess humility. Um, a person who accept constructive criticism and a person who acknowledge his or her mistakes and a person who do not attack the person personally, rather the system. That's just my experience. Thank you so much, Doc.
Okay. You mentioned about profession. What's the difference between profession and occupation?
For me, Doc, occupation is your job description, and your profession is um, how you embody the skills that is needed by that occupation or by that job.
Okay, so profession is your preparation for work, but occupation is what you are doing. So when you
Okay,
study,
thank you.
that will be part of your profession, and what you are doing is occupation. So when you say a person is professional, what's the meaning of that? That person is a professional.
For me, that person is professional when he or she is really good at her job and he or she treat people well in the organization.
Mhm. So usually you say that person is very professional. Or that person is professional. So we put two meanings there. When you say professional, it means that he has the preparation. So if you pass the C board examination, you are considered a professional, having passed the CPA board examination or the engineering professional. And the other one is your behavior, the way you dress, the way you work, respect for people. So you are a professional. So we can extract two meanings there. Okay. Like for example,
Thank you,
he
Doc.
is professional because he passed the CPA board examination or the engineering examination. For development and growth, usually, which comes first, development or growth?
For me, Doc, development.
Okay, so that will depend on what we really mean, no? Because if we consider a baby from the time he was born or he is born until when he becomes 10 years old, so we can see that growth comes first. But after 1 week, he is becoming taller, okay, bigger, so growing. Okay, but after a certain period, we say he is developing because he starts to work. He starts to smile. Okay. But for other things, like for example, measuring the level of countries, they are using growth after development. So the country is developed, then they measure growth yearly. What is the growth? According to what agencies of the world are evaluating countries. And there are three very important, very popular uh, agencies of the world that measure measure countries, economic condition, and so on. And these are okay. Standard and Poor, H and P. You can read this, no? Standard and Poor. Okay, so they evaluated the Philippine economy, and I think we were given a grade of D plus, which is very good enough. Okay, and we hope to continue that one. Okay, because it went down during the past administration, but in the new administration, it improved. The other one is the Fitch, another one that evaluate countries' performance, and this will guide also some creditors in giving some loans to the country. Fitch, so Standard and Poor and No, no, and is and P, standard and poor, and then the fits. And the other one is the modest. So these are the three very popular agencies that evaluate standing of countries and give ratings. So we're happy that we have now B plus. Okay, we're waiting for B plus plus and hoping to have A minus. But that will depend on how the country will be managed, considering that we still have so many problems. Okay, which were yeah, given to the present administration. So the present administration has a problem in solving all of this. The POGO is one of the biggest problems. The Chinese issue on the West Philippine Sea, another big issue. Then we have also graft and corruption, which was very, very high last administration, which has to be solved now. Another issue, and the work of nature, because nature is hitting back. No country can even prepare for that. Floods, eruptions, typhoons, earthquakes. These are work of nature, which is very difficult to prevent. All of this are considered our problems, global problems also. But we have specific problems which are not happening in other countries. And one of that is the Pogo. We are solving it now. Then the Philippine issue on the West Philippine Sea, okay, and the works of nature that are hitting us. So we hope that everything can be solved now. Okay, another one is on politics. The problem in politics because of the two unit, we call that unit team, uh, the disturbed na. So we have two factions now, and if they cannot join, this can be a very big problem that will affect our economy. Okay, we will now go to Ramirez.
Yes, Doc. Good afternoon.
Lovely Ramirez.
Sir Brandon, can you please share my slides? Thank you, sir. Okay, am I audible, Doc?
Yes.
Okay, good afternoon, Doc. Good afternoon, classmates. So this afternoon, I will be talking about the concept and functions of the executive. Next, sir. Next, Sir Brandon, please. Okay, so let me start with the concept of the executive. So an executive is, according to Peter Drucker, an executive is a high-ranking individual within an organization who is responsible for making strategic decisions and overseeing the overall operations of the company. So executives are part of the top management team and play a crucial role in setting the direction, the goals, and the policies of the organization. Next slide, please. Next, Sir Brandon. Executive is a professional who oversees and directs business operations, often making corporate decisions, setting goals and budgets, and developing strategies to optimize overall operations. So they may negotiate with potential business partners, implement company policies, and establish guidelines and timelines. Executives analyze sales reports, financial statements, and oversee general activities that make up the company's mission. So they're responsible for budgets and financial activities and are involved in approving or negotiating contracts and agreements and hire other managers or department heads. Executives establish and carry out organizations' goals, policies, and procedures and oversee the organization's financial and budgetary activities. They also consult with other executive, staff, and board members about general operations, negotiate or approve contracts and agreements, and appoint department heads and managers. Executives direct, plan, and coordinate operational activities for their organization or company and are generally responsible for creating the policies and strategies that meet company goals. Executives can work in a range of industries, including private companies and nonprofit organizations. So, their duties typically involve using their leadership skills to strategically direct an organization to enhance levels of efficiency and output. Okay, an executive can have many different titles depending on their position within a company. Examples of executive roles can include so we have CEO or the Chief Executive Officer. We also have the CMO or the Chief Marketing Officer. We also have the CFO or the Chief Financial Officer. We also have the COO or the Chief Operating Officer. We also have the CHRO or the Chief Human Resource Officer. We also have here the CIO or the Chief Information Officers and other executive roles. Okay, let's have the functions of the executive. So let's find out what are the functions of the executive. First, we have setting strategic goals and vision. A business executive is responsible for defining and communicating the mission, the vision, and goals of the organization. So they align the objective with the stakeholders' expectation, the market opportunities, and the resources available. They also monitor they also monitor and evaluate the progress and outcomes of the strategic plan and make adjustment as needed. So to set these short and long-term goals, so we have here in the mission articulation. First, defining a clear mission statement is fundamental. So it succinctly communicates the organization's purpose, values, and primary objectives. So a well-crafted mission statement serves as a guiding light, aligning the efforts of the entire organization. So we also have here the long-term goal setting. So establishing measurable long-term goals and objectives provides a roadmap for the organization's growth. So these goals should be ambitious yet achievable, reflecting the leadership aspiration for the future. So we also have here, next slide please. Okay, we also have here the market insight. So thorough market analysis is crucial as an executive. So leaders need a deep understanding of industry trends, customer behavior, and competitive landscape. So informed decision making relies on a comprehensive grasp of the market forces at play. So we also have here the risk management. So identifying and managing risk is integral to strategic vision. Leaders must anticipate potential challenges that could impede progress. Mitigation strategies ensure that the organization is resilient in the face of uncertainties. Okay, the second function of the executive is creating a sound strategies. So along with setting organizational goals, executive also devise plans for achieving them. Much of this role involves strategizing the best ways to direct the organization to success. So this usually involves decisive problem solving and a thorough understanding of the organization's values and the team's characteristics. So, strategy development is typically an ongoing and collaborative process. So, after implementation, an executive manager usually uh, do partnership with other managers to monitor results, collect feedback, and tweak their strategy as required. Okay, so the third function of the executive we have here is leading and managing teams. So, a business executive is also in charge of leading and managing the teams that execute the strategy and deliver the results. So, they recruit, train, motivate, and empower the staff, managers, and directors. So, they foster a culture of collaboration, innovation, and excellence. So, they also handle any issues or conflicts that arise among the team members or with external partners. So for the leading and managing teams, we have so they might emphasize recognizing and celebrating successes and providing constructive criticism to aid individual and team development. So another way, they are likely to perform this duty by promoting collaboration to boost workplace creativity and innovation. So the fourth function, we have making decisions and solving problems. So this executive may face complex and challenging situations that require quick and effective decisions and solutions. So they analyze data, information, and feedback from various sources and stakeholders. So they weigh the pros and cons of different options and scenarios. So they consider the short term and long term implications and risk. They also consult with experts, advisors, and mentors when needed. Okay, under the fourth, what you call this, the fourth function, we have, next slide, please. Okay, we have informed decision making. So leaders are tasked with making informed and timely decisions. So this involves gathering relevant data, considering different perspectives, and assessing potential outcomes. So informed decision making is essential for navigating complexities and seizing opportunities in a rapidly evolving business environment. The second one, we have collaborative decision making. Collaboration is integral to effective decision making. Leaders should foster an environment where diverse opinions are valued and teams can contribute their expertise. So, collaborative decision making promotes collective ownership and often leads to more well rounded and successful outcomes. So, to effectively manage an organization, we have to consider this one. And the third one, we also have aligning decisions with strategy. So decisions should align with the overall strategic vision of the organization. Leaders must ensure that individual decisions contribute to the fulfillment of long-term goals. So strategic alignment prevents disjointed efforts and keep the organization focused on its overarching objectives. Okay, the next slide, please. Next slide, Sir Brandon.
It's earthquake. We have an earthquake.
Okay.
Do you have an earthquake there?
Wala ba?
Earthquake, Mundo?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Wala, sir.
Excuse
In
me.
Cagayan is too far.
Super
Yan,
ka
in
pala.
Bukidnon.
Excuse me for a while.
It's okay, Doc.
Excuse me for a while. But check what happened. Okay. We have the earthquake. Just now, we are hit by the earthquake. A moment. I'll go up first.
Okay, Doc. Okay.
Okay, Doc. Okay.
So, I have to use my cane. Okay. Okay. Find out where is the epicenter there. Okay.
Everything okay, Doc?
It's okay because I am in the ground floor,
Oh,
so
okay.
it was not hard. The second floor, my wife was rattled, and our kasambahays also were running.
Oh,
I do not know where is the epicenter. Okay,
oh, okay.
because there was one movement and then followed by another one, and in the first movement, the computer, yeah, produced a sound. The computer, yeah, my gadget produced a sound, a ting sound, and that was the first move of the earthquake. Another one. So we will be finding out where is the epicenter. Okay. I could not run out because I am here in the ground floor. Okay. So this is the effect of earthquake. Nobody is strong enough to survive if there is an earthquake. You become rattled. No matter how prepared you are because of the training and because of the practices in handling earthquake, you cannot avoid. So I hope there will be no
Uh,
aftershock. I hope there will be no aftershock. Okay.
Doc, it says here, Doc, 11:53 p.m. in Cebu, estimated magnitude 4.8 earthquake.
Okay. So where is the epicenter?
Let
Wala
me
pa?
see. Wala gid siya nakuan, Doc. But,
Okay, wala pa ang kwan siguro. Well, that will be announced later on. Okay. Yeah, because the last time we had a big earthquake was when Bohol was hit. Bohol was hit in 2013 and it affected Cebu. In fact, some buildings in Cebu were destroyed, including our basilica, the church. Okay. And in Bohol, the damage was terrible because even our old church, century-old church in Loon, Bohol, was destroyed. Ground zero. Okay. That hit in Loon, Maribuhuk, Candilaran, and some towns in the interior part. Good because our buildings only very little cracks are buildings of the school into Bigon. Okay. So we'll continue.
Okay, Doc. Okay, for the fifth function of the executive, we have managing finances and resources. So a business executive is accountable for the financial performance and sustainability of the excuse me of the organization or the division. So they plan and manage the budget, revenue expenses, and cash flow. So they allocate and optimize the resources such as human capital, technology, equipment, and materials. So they also ensure compliance with the legal, ethical, and regulatory standards and policies. Next, sir. Executive in various industries manage organizational resources. So this refers to allocating resources in a way that maximizes the potential for team, managerial, and organizational success. So resources refer to both the tangible and intangible components that contribute to an organization's operation. For example, the people, the capital, time, equipment, and intellectual property. So the sixth, to effectively manage an organization resources, an executive typically obtain an in-depth insights into the organization current resources and how to use them best. So they then track and reallocate resources as required to promote optimal efficiency. So the sixth function of the executive, we have developing and maintaining relationships. Okay, a business executive is also a key representative and spokesperson of the organization. So they develop and maintain relationships with various internal and external stakeholders such as customers, suppliers, investors, media, government, community, and industry association. So they negotiate contracts, agreements, and partnerships. So they also promote the brand, reputation, and value proposition of the organization or the division. So the next function, we have negotiating contracts. So depending on the corporate structure of the organization, an executive works in their key duties may also involve managing and negotiating the organization's major contracts. So an executive is sometimes the organization's primary contact point for vendors and contractors to discuss agreement terms. So they're likely to use their well-developed negotiation abilities to draft, evaluate, and execute terms that are mutually beneficial for all the parties involved. So once contracts and agreements are in place, they'll usually monitor them to ensure they meet the terms agreed upon. So the eight functions of the executive, we have learning and adapting. So a business executive is expected to keep up with the changing trends, demands, and challenges in the business environment. So they constantly learn new skills, knowledge, and best practices. So they seek feedback and advice from others and reflect on their own performance and development. So they also embrace change and innovation and encourage their teams to do the same. Okay, the last one, we have tracking performance. So it's an executive's responsibility to ensure that their team operates efficiently. So because of this, monitoring team and organizational performance is a key duty of the executives. So through constant monitoring, an executive can recognize a problem before or shortly after it arises and implement the steps to remedy it. So they're likely to track performance using a range of careful selected metrics, data collection, reporting processes, benchmarks, and predictions. So doing this can promote continuity and progress, helping them to keep the organization tracking successfully towards its goal. So, in conclusion, the executive role is one that comes with great responsibility and reward. So, the executive plays a key role in leading the business towards achieving their organizational goals while remaining aware of everyday processes and operations. So, as such, executives are excellent problem solvers, decision makers, and a leader. So, they're also important to any business because they foster collaboration, encourage business growth, and facilitate effective problem solving. So, to be successful in this position, an individual needs to host highly productive meetings, have regular one on one meetings, and learn how to delegate effectively. While the demands of this position are high, the rewards of giving back to your team and to the organizations are both satisfying and fulfilling. So, with that, thank you for listening. So,
Okay.
these are my references.
Thank you, Ms. Ramirez.
Doc.
In your presentation, you mentioned mission, vision. So what do you mean by vision and mission? That all of the goals of the company should be aligned to their mission and the vision. So what is meant by that? What is vision and what is mission?
Yes, Doc. When we say mission, it defines the core purpose of an organization. So it's outlining what they do, who they serve, and how they do it. So while vision, it describes the long-term aspiration or kanang desired future state of an organization or individual. So it is forward-looking and provides an inspiring picture of kanang what success looks like in the future.
Okay, so that's correct. Vision is what you plan, what you want to achieve, what you want to become. And mission is the purpose of the existence of the company. So mission is a life purpose, what you want to do as planned. But what you
Yes.
want to become, that's a vision. Like when you go to San Miguel, clearly you can see their vision. Their vision is at the end of one decade, this company will be number 2 in Asia. So
Mm.
in Visayan, panglantaw, no?
Yes,
They
Doc.
have to provide the beer that is competitive with other beers. They will continue doing that, and that is their mission. You mentioned about financial function. Now, I believe that an executive manager should have a good knowledge of finance. So it's good that somebody to become an executive or a manager should be prepared to have the following assets. One, management skill, and the other one is finance. Okay. Like for example, as one example is University of the East. Okay, they assign a president who was purely educator, doctor in education, and no knowledge about finance or little knowledge about finance. UA failed. After that, they hired somebody who is very popular in the accounting world, not only in the Philippines but other countries, and he managed university with no good knowledge in education. UA also failed. So that is just one example. Like in a school system, for example, a good president should be somebody who is in education, in management, and he knows finance. Okay. So take note of that. Some of you will become executives. Be sure that you have a good knowledge, not only in management, but also in finance. Okay, let us go to the next one. Brandon Donatos.
Okay, so good afternoon, everyone. Doc, am I presenting and am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, so again, good afternoon to each and everyone, especially to our dear Professor Dr. Lerin and Ma'am
Maklaro na,
Lovely.
sir.
Okay, Ma'am. Ma'am Lovely just discussed a while ago about the concept and functions of an executive manager. So I will be focusing my discussion only on the executive's clouds and specifically his clouds and his blockages. So let's now dive in into the discussion proper. So again, my report evolves on the executive clouds and his blockages. So what really is this executive clout? No, executive clout refers actually to the influence and the power that an executive level person holds within an organization or the industry. But in the marketing sense, or let's say, for example, in the marketing's perspective or area, clout simply refers to the significant influence of or the high degree of power that an individual or an organization possesses. No, it is the ability to shape opinions, guide decisions, or even drive trends within a certain community, market, or even audience. So when you speak to someone having clout, it usually means that they communicate a sense of power or influence, particularly in the political sense. So, what now are the executive's clout or the characteristics of an executive uh, must possess in order for him to have this what we call power? So the first one is the leadership skills. No, executive clout is often rooted in strong leadership skills, and these leadership skills enable executives to effectively influence, motivate, and guide their teams and the organization where they belong. Second would be the visionary thinking, or the ability to articulate a compelling and inspiring vision for the future of the organization. It is also a component of executive clout, and it actually involves the ability to conceptualize the future, wherein executives can envision how their organization might look and operate in the future, often beyond the immediate horizon. Third would be the strategic thinking, no? So the capacity to develop and implement effective plans and strategies to achieve organization goals, and analyzing the environment or the external factors that could impact their organization, such as economic conditions, industry trends, and competitive pressures. Fourthly, the skill of making sound and timely decisions, often under pressure, or the decision making skills of an executive. No, it is actually the fundamental skill for an executive, as it involves making choices that can significantly impact the success or even the failure of an organization. So, fifth is the ability to communicate effectively, or the communication skill of the executive. No, with a wide range of stakeholders, both internally and externally. It is also a crucial or critical skill for an executive, as communication should have a clear and concise messaging. The ability to articulate ideas and information in a clear, concise, and of course understandable manner. Interpersonal skills are the capacity of an executive to build and maintain strong relationship with colleagues, even in with subordinates and superiors. No, so interpersonal skills are the executive's toolkit, as they must have an empathy, or the ability to understand and respond to the emotions of others. That goes as well with the seventh clout of an executive person, no? Executive, let's say, for example, the executive, no? They must respond to the emotions of others. Next would be the change in change management, no? So the skill of leading and managing organizational change effectively, also considered as a critical skill of the executives in today's rapidly evolving environment. And it also involves the process of leading and managing organizational change effectively to ensure that employees and stakeholders are able to adapt to new ways of working and achieve desired outcomes. Next is the problem-solving skill of an executive, or the ability to identify and solve complex problems creatively and efficiently. The executive's toolbox, this problem-solving skill enables them to identify and address challenging or challenges that may hinder the organization's success. And number 10 would be the delegation. No? In delegation, the capacity to assign tasks and responsibilities appropriately to others. It is the process of assigning tasks or responsibilities to others, and it is also a critical skill for the executives as it allows the to free up their time to focus on higher level tasks, while also empowering their team members and fostering a culture of trust and accountability. And the team building, the 11th executive cloud would be the team building, no? The skill of fostering a positive and productive team environment. So fostering collaboration and unity would be a process in creating a positive and productive work environment where individuals can collaborate effectively and achieve common goals. Team building involves activities and strategies that promote teamwork, communication, trust, and even morale. So I am done with the first part of my report, which is the executive cloud. I will be proceeding now to the next part of my topic, which is about the executive blockage. No, so executive blockage is these are actually the obstacles or challenges that can hinder an executive's ability to achieve their goals or implement their initiatives. So we have several factors affecting the executives' blockages. No, the first is the organizational factors. A culture or a first is the resistant or inflexibility company, wherein a future or a culture that is resistant to change or innovation can of course impede any progress of the company. Second would be on the resource constraint, no? Or let's say, for example, a limited budget or limited staffing or other resources that can pose significant challenges to the organization. Third would be political infighting, no? Such as it could probably include the internal conflicts or power struggles, which can create a hostile environment and can even block the initiatives of the executive or even the members of the organization. The fourth would be bureaucracy, no? And this will be the last on the organizational factors. Executive red tape and complex procedures can slow down decision making and implementation of their initiatives. And for the external factors, we have this what we call the economic downturns. Another factor is this, and economically speaking, no, economic stability or recessions, of course, can impact businesses' operations and limit their resources. Regulatory challenges or changes, and new regulations or simple changes to an existing regulations can create uncertainty and even can hinder the growth of the company or the organization. The third would be the competitive pressure. No, intense competition can make it difficult to gain market share or maintain the profitability of the company or the organization. Industry interruptions. For the industry interruptions, the technological advancements or shifted consumer preferences can disrupt established business models. Next would be the personal limitations of the executives. No, first is the lack of leadership skills. Ineffective leaders or ineffective leadership can hinder an executive's ability to motivate and inspire their team. The poor decision making, no, poor judgment or impulse decisions can lead to a negative consequences. Resistance to change. Some executives may be, let's say, reluctant to embrace change or adapt to new circumstances. And what are the things that the executive need to do in order for them to overcome these blockages? The first thing in my list is the identify and address the root causes. No, the executive must understand the underlying reasons for the blockages and take steps to address them. Second, build relationships and alliances. Developing a strong relationship with key stakeholders in order to gain support and overcome resistance from the people under your command. Next is the communication. Communicate effectively. No? So clear communication will clearly, of course, communicate the vision and the goals of the initiatives to gain the buy-in support of the company or the organization. Fourth would be adaptable and resilient. Be prepared to adapt to change or to adapt to certain circumstance and to overcome setbacks. And lastly would be the seek internal perspectives, no? So executive in here should be prepared to adapt to changing circumstance to avoid any setbacks or failure. So that would be all for my report, and these are my references. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening.
Okay, so it takes a lot of time training to have clouds. Now, you mentioned about change and resistance. How do you react on this? That the statement is saying people resist change. Your comment on that. Is it correct to say that? Is it true? Is it not true? That people resist change.
I would say, Doc, perhaps true. Let's say, for example, some of the teachers nowadays in the Department of Education really do not embrace changes. No, do not embrace change when it comes to technological advancements. No, they would always say for example, my colleagues, they would always say ihatag na sa bag-o kay di na may kabalo ana. So dito pa lang, as simple as that, murag that they are one way or another, they are somehow reluctant to change.
You are teaching in the basic or in the college?
I am teaching in senior high school, Doc, and
Okay,
I am a
basic.
part-time teacher in college.
Basic education.
Yes,
Okay.
Doc.
So if we cannot make it, why not study? Why not
Yes, Doc.
study? We cannot go against that. We
Yes,
cannot refuse this development. Whether we like it or not, it's there. And the development of technology is very fast. Very
Yes,
fast.
Doc.
Now we are very even concerned about the AI, although AI can be a very good tool also, but if not properly managed, it can also be a liability. So we cannot avoid that. So the only thing the thing that we do is to have training programs for those who are older already. Okay,
Yes,
and
Doc.
yeah, because we cannot just stay idle, no? The development is there. Okay, so
Yes.
when we say people resist change, the answer this is it will depend. Like for example, if I will change your salary from 28,000 to 40,000, will you resist that one?
No, Doc.
That is change. So we cannot generalize that one. Maybe there are things that we resist because we find out that it's not good, harmful. Okay, but if it is good, we accept. We accept. Okay. And you mentioned about blockages, no? So it takes a lot of time, okay, to be having clouds. Okay, and you have the blockages, and you mentioned about political factors. Okay, that is one of the blockages. Okay, at present, this can be a strong factor, especially elections are coming. Okay, that will be May 10, 2025. And the destruction of the unit team between Duterte and Marcos is one big problem. Okay, but we do not know yet. The Duterte camp is still silent up to now. But the Marcos side is prepared by announcing the 12 candidates for the Senate. But in that particular thing, there is also a blockage. That blockage is the sister of the president is announcing that she will be doing alone and she will not join the 12. In fact, during the proclamation, Amy Marcos did not join. So, misunderstanding in the family of the president is another big factor. Okay. And aside from that, even those who were invited to join and were included in the proclamation is or are saying that they will be considered independent. And that is the case of Lacson. So I'm glad also that Lacson is running. And also Soto. These are very good senators who can help our country. There are so many there in the top 12 of the Marcos administration, which should not be there. They are not doing things. So I'm glad that Lacson and Soto will be coming. I hope Pangilinan also will be running and the others. But there are so many there who cannot express themselves and who do not know about the law. Okay. So let us be very careful in selecting who really are considered to be the best. Okay. And that is in political factors. Let us now go to the next one. Thank you, Brandon. Okay.
Yes, Doc.
Let us now go to America. Stoche. Joseph.
All right, I'm loading it up now. Okay. It's about ready to rain over here, so hopefully we'll get power, so I'll make this pretty quick. Got 13 slides to go through. We're going to talk about the executive role model for the gamesman, mainly analyzing characteristics and impacts. A little background on myself. I got my undergrad in 2006 at the Citadel in criminal justice and political science. I don't use it. I've never used that degree, but it was a good school. I did U.S. Navy after that, right on the war on terror. So I spent about 9-10 years in the military. After that, I founded my company in 2015 in the U.S. and the Philippines. Then I got my master's degree at Liceo in 2022. I established a farm because that was kind of the big thing. We had farmland available in the Philippines. So I opened up a farm and I created a YouTube channel from that. And then now I'm currently enrolled in PhD with you guys every weekend. All right, so we'll go to the agenda. So we're going to introduce the gamesman as an executive model, key traits, the gamesman in a corporate culture, advantages and challenges, and we'll have a conclusion and a summary, and then any Q&A. Main thing I want to touch on this is that we're going to explore the core traits and examine how this model shapes corporate culture and discusses the benefits and challenges it brings to organizations. Following this, we'll be able to summarize key points and open the floor for questions. In the 1970s, Michael McCoby, he introduced the concept of the gamesman and executive as a new type of corporate leader. The gamesman sees business as a high-stakes game where success is not just about following the rules, but mastering them. This type of leader has a strategic mindset, but it also has a drive for innovation and a relentless focus on competition. This is also why I really like running a game store, is because it really aligns with me. The gamesman is motivated by more than traditional success. They are driven by the thrill of competition and the desire to outmaneuver opponents. In their world, the business challenges are seen as puzzles to solve, and every victory reaffirms their mastery of the corporate landscape. So let's go through some bullet points here. All right. So just touch on the bullet points. So it was established back in the 70s, and it's currently employed, and it's really based on competition. And this really brings out that alpha personality. And that's kind of what attracts a lot of people to. And I'll discuss that in one of my case studies at the end. All right, key traits of the gamesman. So they're normally a strategic thinker, they're a risk taker, they're innovative, and they're a team player, which is kind of weird that you would think they'd be a team player because you figure they'd always want to put themselves first, but it's actually a really strong trait. So the gamesman embodies a combination of strategic thinking and deep appreciation for competition. This type of executive doesn't just play the game, they aim to rewrite the rules in their favor. And I will say this for business: you bend the rules, you don't break them, but you find every rule and you find every way to bend it. So, it's one of the really important things about business. They are natural risk takers, always looking for new opportunities to gain a competitive edge, no matter what. And what sets them apart is their ability to inspire others to perform and excel. So I find them to be really good leaders. The gamesman pushes their team to take calculated risk and think outside the box. Their leadership style is often the result of breakthroughs and ideas and innovation, encouraging organizations to stay consistently ahead of the curve. All right, gamesmen and corporate culture. So there's four main points I'll talk about: competitiveness, innovative driven, ambitious environment, and dynamic leadership. So the leadership of a gamesman can have a transformative effect in corporate settings. They instill a culture of innovation where thinking differently is encouraged and celebrated. Their approach creates dynamic environments where employees are motivated and inspired to push the boundaries and take the organization to new heights. However, a culture driven by competition must also be managed carefully, right? There'll be a lot of infighting if you end up letting everybody fight to the death. But it does happen, right? It does happen. While healthy rivalry can drive performance or piracy from other companies stealing employees, there also needs to be internal competition that can lead to unnecessary conflict and burnout. The gamesman must maintain balance by promoting teamwork and individual excellence. And I think that's what was good about our beginning case study of the course today, was that it really described what people could do and not do. This emphasizes the balance and reassures the audience that the challenges can be managed effectively. So advantages of gamesman leadership style: fosters innovation, encourages risk-taking, results-oriented, and adapts quickly to change. The gamesman leadership offers several distinct advantages. They excel at driving innovation and encouraging teams to take bold steps towards new solutions. Their willingness to embrace calculated risk sets them apart, and enabling companies to make decisions that may yield substantial long-term rewards. Additionally, the gamesman's adaptability is critical in constantly evolving industries. This leader's ability to pivot quickly in response to market shifts, AI, pandemic, everything else that'll stop your business, keeps the company competitive. Their focus on outcomes ensures that they don't get bogged down in the process, but remain laser focused on achieving tangible results. All right, challenges for this leadership style. So potential burnout, overemphasis on winning, internal rivalry, and decision fatigue. I know everyone has their departments they're in charge of, or really large organizations that they're a part of, and decision fatigue is something that I deal with constantly myself. And I know that a lot of other people, like I think a lot of people like Mark Zuckerberg, they wear the same thing every day, and that's just the one less decision they have to make. So it's something that I think is really a global issue as we move into 2025. All right, so despite all its many strengths, the gamesman leadership style also presents challenges. The drive for constant competition can create high-pressure work environments, which may lead to burnout for both the leader and their team. Its fast-paced, high-energy style can be difficult to sustain over a long term without careful attention to work-life balance. All right, gamesman versus other leadership models. So gamesman versus the craftsman, gamesman versus the jungle fighter, and gamesman versus the company man or the salary man. It's helpful to compare the gamesman to other leadership archetypes to appreciate its uniqueness and ability to compete. So, for example, the craftsman archetype focuses on mastering a specific skill or trade driven by the pursuit of personal excellence rather than external competition. On the other hand, a jungle fighter type archetype focuses on surviving a cutthroat environment, relying on aggressive tactics rather than strategic play. The gamesman, however, strikes a unique balance and not solely driven by personal mastery or pure survival. They play to win. All right, so case studies. I got good examples for this, and I'll try to do better as we move through the course and I find local Philippine or at least Southeast Asia. It's just tough because these guys, Steve Jobs, Elon Musk, and Jeff Bezos, really did set the tone. One of my own personal things I like because I do e-commerce. Jeff Bezos operated Amazon for 7 years before anybody decided to build a competing brand to compete with that. So at that point, you were 7 years in the future. People could never catch up, and that's why Amazon's really big right now. Same thing with Steve Jobs. He failed a lot at the early days, got fired from his own company and brought back, and now we're on iPhones and everything is digital now. Same can be said for Elon Musk. Everyone didn't think that we could do batteries and solar power and cars, and he was able to actually do that. So some of the most renowned business leaders embody gamesman model. Steve Jobs is a prime example. Along with his ability to lead Apple, wasn't just running the company, he played the game of business to revolutionize the entire industry. When they released iTunes, it literally changed the music industry overnight. So he's focused on phones. He releases the iPhone and iTunes, and that literally changes how the music industry operates. SpaceX and Tesla illustrate Elon Musk's strategic mind and appetite for risk because it's I think there was a good documentary that I found before where they were just blowing up rocket after rocket after rocket, and they were literally down to their last little bit of cash flow to ability to launch. So they had to have a successful launch. So these are great examples of where you have to balance risk with long-term strategic thinking. All right, so conclusion. Okay, so the gamesman does provide a compelling model for executive leadership, and especially in high competitive industries. Their ability to innovate, take calculated risk, and motivate their team set them apart as visionary leaders. However, like all leadership styles, it has challenges, particularly in managing internal competition and maintaining a sustainable work environment. The key lies in balance for leaders considering to adopt the gamesman style. And I'll turn it over for questions and answers. This is actually my team. We're busy moving. I bought this building, and I'm actually turning it into a further warehouse and fulfillment center. So we're busy working all day, loading it up, trying to fight the rain that comes in Cagayan afternoon. So it's been a really good time expanding in the Philippines. And here's some sources from the presentation. Thank you very much. Good afternoon.
Okay, Joseph, we have a problem in agriculture in the Philippines. May I know the status of your farm? Very interested to know.
Yeah, so we currently do greenhouse growing production, and we've learned through history. If you're from Cagayan, everyone used to go to Gora Market. They used to be where everything would consolidate, but now it's all at Bua. But the problem being is that the Philippines, especially Mindanao, has terrible infrastructure outside of metro areas like Cebu and Manila, that there is a lot of other issues that have nothing to do with farming.
Yeah,
Growing is the easy part.
yeah.
The distribution
Okay.
is the hard part.
There was a mention in your report that the gamesman is a result oriented. That is why a gamesman assumes risk. What level of risk that you will assume that one can assume to be able to get good results? Any kind of risk you will take?
Everything it's calculated. I think I mentioned it's a calculated risk. Like I would probably, I mean, in my own experience, whether it's farming, because I knew really nothing about farming, that it would be something where you have stable. Like we own the land. So
Yeah,
there's no
yeah.
risk if the business fails. If the
Okay.
business doesn't do well, then you still own the land, right?
You hit that you hit that answer. Calculated. In fact, this is a very popular term in entrepreneurship. That we assume risks, but be sure that the risks that we are assuming must be calculated. Okay. Now, if we ask you from the gamesman, who are you? Craftsman, jungleman, or what?
I'm definitely the gamesman, like hands down.
Okay. Okay. Thank you, Joseph. Thank you.
Thank you very
Let
much,
us
Doc.
now go to the next galang. We have galang Lucille. Lucille, are you there?
Doc, I checked the participants and she's not around, Doc.
Not around. So, shall we go? Thank you, Miss Palapar. Okay, shall we now go to Tabao?
Yes, Doc.
Okay, Princess. Okay, Princess Tabao.
For a while lang, Doc. Is it visible na, Doc?
Yes.
So, good afternoon, everyone.
Good
Today,
afternoon.
I will be discussing a leadership model that has been fundamental in management studies for decades now, the grid leadership style, also known as the managerial grid. So, so let's start with the basic, no? The grid leadership style was developed in the 1960s by the two social scientists, Robert Blake and Jane Newton. So their goal was to create a model that would help leaders better understand their approach to managing people and achieving tasks. So this model provides insight into how leaders balance their concern for production, which focuses on the completion of tasks, also with their concern for people, which emphasizes employee welfare. So these two dimensions form the foundation of the grid now, and we'll see how different leadership styles emerge based on how much importance leaders place on each. So the grid operates on two axes. So we have here the 9 by 9, no, 9 by 9 grid. So the these operates on two axes. the concern for people and the concern for production. So the concern for people reflects the extent to which leaders prioritize employee needs and personal development. While on the other hand, the concern for production focuses on achieving results, setting goals, and driving performance. Now, depending on how these concerns are balanced, different leadership styles emerge. Now, Blake and Mouton identified five primary leadership styles based on how a leader balances concern for people and concern for production. So, first is the impoverished management. These leaders do the bare minimum, resulting in low productivity and poor team morale. So it's a passive, uninvolved style of leadership that can create a disengaged workforce. Second is the country club management. It is all about keeping employees happy, but productivity tends to take a back seat. Now, this can create a positive work atmosphere, but the lack of focus on tasks might mean lower overall performance. Third is the task management. Now, it emphasizes tasks and results, often at the expense of team well-being. Now, while this might lead to high output, employee satisfaction and engagement can suffer as their personal needs are neglected. Fourth is the middle of the road management. Now, this tries to strike a balance between concern for people and production. So, leaders here maintain an average level of performance, but they may not achieve excellence in either area. Now, finally, no, the ideal leadership style in the grid is the team management. So, this approach balances a high concern for people with a high focus on production. Leaders in this quadrant cultivate a culture of collaboration, trust, and innovation. So they empower their teams to achieve excellent results while promoting personal and professional development. So, in an executive management context, no, this leadership style creates sustainable growth and drives overall organizational success. So, in executive management, balancing people and results is essential for long-term success. So, the team management style aligns well with strategic leadership roles, fostering employee retention, innovation, and strong business performance. However, the successful executives must also adapt their leadership style to different contexts. Like shifting between styles is necessary to meet short term challenges or organizational demands. So, to bring the grid to life now, let's look at real world examples. So, we have here consider a CEO who prioritizes employee growth through mentorship programs while also delivering impressive quarterly results. Now, another example is a project leader who ensures high team morale and engagement while keeping projects on schedule. So these leaders exemplify the team management style by maintaining high productivity without sacrificing their people's well-being. Next are the benefits of the great leadership style. So this kind of leadership style offers multiple advantages for leaders seeking to improve both their team's performance and their own effectiveness. First, it emphasizes balancing concern for people with concern for production, helping leaders focus on employee welfare without losing sight of business objectives. So it also serves as a tool for self-reflection, which allows the leaders to evaluate and refine their approach based on where they fall on the grid. Now, the model highlights the team management style, which is again ideal for fostering high performance and morale. So the adaptability of the grid makes it useful across different industries and leadership contexts. So by creating an environment where employees feel supported and valued, leaders can boost both engagement and productivity. Now, and lastly, the for the executives, now the grid helps align leadership behaviors with long-term strategic goals, ensuring sustainable success. So, um, well, the grid leadership model and particularly the team management style is often considered ideal. There are important challenges and limitations to be aware of. So first, the model is not universally applicable. So not all situations call for a high degree of concern for both people and production. Now, in times of crisis no, or when rapid decision making is needed, a leader may need to adopt a more directive, task-oriented approach, such as the task management, to focus solely on results. Similarly, in highly creative or collaborative environments, a country club management style might temporarily work better by placing a stronger focus on interpersonal relationships and team harmony. In addition to that, no, the cultural differences can impact the applicability of the grid model. So the framework was developed in a Western context where individualism and task orientation are often emphasized. So in more collectivist cultures, the leadership might involve a stronger focus on a group success and consensus, which could conflict with the binary balance of people versus production found in the grid. Now, what works in a US or European context might not translate perfectly to leadership in Asia, Africa, or the Middle East, where expectations around hierarchy, authority, and team dynamics can differ. So another challenge is the potential oversimplification of leadership. Now, by focusing primarily on concern for people and concern for production, the model can neglect other critical elements of leadership, such as the creativity, vision, ethical decision making, or adaptability. So these aspects are often critical for executives who need to navigate complex, fast-changing environments. So finally, the changing business environment also present a challenge. So the rapid pace of technological change, globalization, and market disruptions means that leaders must constantly evolve. So the leadership style that worked last year may no longer be effective today. So therefore, while the team management style is in excellent go, the ability to adapt and shift between different leadership styles is crucial for long-term success in executive roles. So again, before we close, let's summarize the key takeaways. So first, again, the grid leadership model is a valuable tool for self-reflection and development, which helps the leaders assess their approach to people and production. Second is the flexibility in leadership style. Um, this is critical, no? So, especially for executives who must navigate a variety of challenges and environments. Now, lastly, the cultural sensitivity and adaptability are increasingly important in a globalized business landscape where effective leadership must be tailored to diverse teams and contexts. So, by applying these principles, leaders can better position their organizations for success. So, I think that will be all, Doc. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. As an executive, it is very difficult to balance between the two styles. If you are for people, productivity will suffer. If you are for productivity, people will suffer, which eventually will also affect productivity. So as an executive, you have to make a very good balance on how to handle both. But there are times when you cannot help but be with pro people because it is demanded in the industry that you are managing. And there are times also when you cannot help but you are for productivity because it is a demand in the association or in the industry that you have to produce things. Just like, or can you give us one example, for example, where it cannot be helped, but you are to work for productivity?
Pardon, Doc?
Can you give us one simple example for of an industry that will follow leadership for productivity instead of people? Because it is the demand of the industry that you have to be siding productivity. Can you give us sample of that? Okay, like for example, kasi in Cebu, we have a copper mine that is Atlas. Okay? And from the top of the mountain down, okay, then the floor is a wide space where people working are excavating and getting copper. Who are the workers there? Non-educated. Some have not gone to school. Okay. So in that case, the one who manage will follow leadership for productivity. He has to shout, he has to be brave, otherwise they cannot achieve what management wants them to achieve. So that is one example where you cannot help but follow leadership for productivity. But more professional industries will tend to follow leadership for pro people because that is what the industry also would like to follow. Let us now have the next one by Elio. Elio Eleanor. And this is very
Doc,
interesting.
I just received my ano Doc, my topic a while ago, Doc. I
Okay,
was
so you
absent
will
the
have to
last
report
time.
next meeting. Okay. Well, we
Yes
go to
po.
Volkerin. To Volkerin.
Okay, Doc, for a while lang po. Hello? Am I audible?
Yes. Not yet, not yet.
Okay, okay.
But no slides pa, ma'am.
Wala pa yung slide. Pero nakashare na ko, sir, no?
Ganina, na-share to siya rin karon kay wala.
Nawala. Yes, na. Um, okay. Okay. Present. Okay. Is it visible na?
Yes, ma'am.
Visible na ba siya?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you po. Sige, good afternoon, Doc. Good afternoon, classmates. This afternoon, I am tasked to discuss the first two out of eight habits of highly effective people, the be proactive and begin with the end in mind habits. So, the eight habits of highly effective people is a dynamic, life changing educational coaching process based on the content of the best selling books with the same title The Seven Habits of Highly Effective People and The Eight Habit of Highly Effective People, written by Stephen R. Covey. So, kinsa ni nakabasaan ni? So, the eight big habits will help us initiate a long term process of increased productivity and improve effectiveness. So, to start with the habits, let me define first habit. According to Aristotle, we are what we repeatedly do. So, excellence then is not an act, but a habit. So, it is not an accident that we became excellent. It is a product of our habit. As they said that our character basically is a composite of our habits. So, a thought reap an action. So, an action reap a habit. So, a habit reap a character. And so, a character, you reap a destiny. So, a habit is a regular practice or routine that is often done subconsciously. It can be something as simple as brushing our teeth every morning or as complex as a daily exercise. Habits can be beneficial, like reading every day, or detrimental, like smoking. Habits form because our brains look for ways to save effort. So when you repeat an action regularly, your brain starts to automate it, making it easier to perform without much thought. This is why habits can be powerful tools for achieving long term goals, but also why breaking bad habits can be challenging. According to Stephen Covey, habits are powerful factors in our lives because they are consistent, often unconscious patterns. They constantly, daily express our character and produce our effectiveness or ineffectiveness. The first habit of highly effective people is being proactive. Being proactive means more than merely taking initiative. It means that as human beings, we are responsible for our own lives. Our behavior is a function of our decisions, not our conditions. We can subordinate feelings to our values. We have the initiative and the responsibility to make things happen. The word responsibility can be read as responsibility, the ability to choose your response on a certain stimuli. Highly proactive people recognize that responsibility. They do not blame circumstances, condition, or conditioning for their behavior. Their behavior is a product of their own conscious choice based on values rather than a product of their conditions based on feeling. So, how do you feel on day like this? It's if it's raining, or how about bright day like this? So, according to Stephen Covey, if you could carry the weather with you, you could have a good day no matter what comes your way. Because by nature, we are proactive. If our lives are a function of conditioning and conditions, it is because we have by conscious decision or by default chosen to empower those things to control us. So, in making such a choice, we become reactive people. Reactive people are often affected by their physical environment. If the weather is good, they feel good. If it isn't, it affects their attitude and their performance. Proactive people, on the other hand, can carry their own weather with them. Whether it rains or shines, it makes no difference to them. They are value driven, and if their value is to produce good quality work, it isn't a function of whether the weather is conducive to it or not. Reactive people, on the other hand, is also affected by their social environment or their social weather. When people treat them well, they feel well. When people don't, they become defensive or protective. Reactive people build their emotional lives around the behavior of others, empowering the weaknesses of other people to control them. The ability to subordinate an impulse to a value is the essence of the proactive people. Reactive people are driven by feelings, circumstances, by conditions, and by their environment. Proactive people, on the other hand, are driven by values carefully thought about, selected, and internalized values. Proactive people are still influenced by external stimuli, whether physical or social or psychological, but their response to the stimuli, conscious or unconscious, is a value based choice or response. As Eleanor Roosevelt observed, no one can hurt you without your consent. In the words of Gandhi, they cannot take away our self respect if we do not give it to them. It is our willing permission, our consent to what happens to us that hurts us far more than what happens to us in the first place. Our language, or which language do you choose? So, our language is a real indicator of the degree to which we see ourselves as proactive people. The language of reactive people absolves them of the responsibility. That's me, that's just the way I am. I, I am determined. There is nothing I can do about it. He makes me so mad. I'm not responsible. My emotional life is governed by something outside my control. I can't do that. I just don't have the time. Something outside me, limited time, is controlling me. If only my wife were more patient. I have to do it. These are the languages of a reactive people. But the proactive people, on the other hand, they they said that let's look at our alternatives. I can choose a different approach. I can control my own feelings. I will choose an appropriate response. A serious problem with reactive language is that it becomes a self fulfilling prophecy. People become reinforced in the paradigm that they are determined and they produce evidence to support the belief. They feel increasingly victimized and out of control, not in charge of their life or their destiny. They blame outside forces, other people, circumstances, even the stars for their own situation. Another excellent way to become more self aware regarding our own way of proactivity is to look at where we focus our time and energy. So we each have our wide range of concerns, right? Our health, our children, problems at work, the national debt. We could separate those from things in which we have no particular mental or emotional involvement by creating a circle of concern. As we look at those things within our circle of concern, it becomes apparent that there are some things over which we have no real control and others that we can do something about. We could identify those concerns in the latter group by circumscribing them to a smaller circle of influence. By determining which of these two circles is the focus of most of our time and energy, we can discover much about the degree of our proactivity. So, here in the slide, we can see our circle of concern and our circle of influence. Our circle of concern, these are the things that we can control, while our circle of influence, these are the things that we can control. So, we need to focus on things that we can change or influence. So proactive people, they focus their efforts in the circle of influence. They work on the things they can do something about. The nature of their energy is positive, enlarging and magnifying, causing their circle of influence to increase. The reactive people, on the other hand, focuses their efforts in the circle of concern. They focus on the weakness of other people, the problems in the environment, and the circumstances over which they have no control. Their focus results in blaming and accusing attitudes, reactive language, and increased feelings of victimization. The negative energy generated by that focus combined with neglect in areas they could do something about causes their circle of influence to shrink. As long as we are working in our circle of concern, we empower the things within it to control us. We aren't taking the proactive initiative necessary to effect positive change. So we have here the have and the bees. So one way to determine which circle our concern is to distinguish between the haves and the bees. The circle of concern is filled with the haves, or the reactive people. They are filled with the haves, while the proactive people are filled with the bees. So the language of the reactive people is, I'll be happy when I have my house paid off, if only I had a boss who wasn't such a dictator, if only I had more patient husband or handsome husband. While the proactive people, on the other hand, says, I can be more patient. I can be more wise. I can be wiser. I can be loving. It's the character focus. On the other end of the stick, before we totally shift our life focus to our circle of influence, we need to also to consider these two things, the consequences and mistakes. So, while we are free to choose our actions, we are not free to choose the consequences of those actions. Consequences are governed by natural law. They are out in the circle of concern. Example, we can decide to step in front of a fast moving train, but we cannot decide what will happen when the train hits us. Another thing is making and keeping commitments. At the very heart of our circle of influence is our ability to make and keep commitments and promises. The commitments we make to ourselves and to others and our integrity to those commitments is the essence and clearest manifestation of our proactivity. It is also the essence of our growth. Through our human endowments of self awareness and conscience, we become conscious of areas of weakness, areas for improvement, areas of talent that could be developed, areas that need to be changed or eliminated from our lives. Then, as we recognize and use our imagination and independent will to act on that awareness, making promises, setting goals, and being true to them, we build the strength of character, the being that makes possible every other positive things in our lives. So the commitments we make to ourselves and to others and our integrity to those commitments is the essence and clearest manifestation of our proactivity. So are we proactive people, a person? So I have included here in my slides the 30-day proactivity test if we are really proactive in our personal lives. So it's up to us na lang classmates to do that thing. So the questions here work on our daily circle of influence and so on. The next is okay. Thank- Okay. The next is before we proceed to the next habit. So
You still have one topic. You have
yeah,
exceeded the time already.
I sorry. So before I start with the second habit, so let us have this short activity. So in your mind's eye, see yourself going to the funeral of a loved one. Picture yourself driving to the funeral parlor or chapel, parking the car and getting out. As you walk inside the building, you notice the flowers, the soft organ music. You see the faces of friends and family you pass along the way. You feel the shared sorrow of losing, the joy of having known, that radiates from the hearts of the people there. As you walk down to the front of the room and look inside the casket, you suddenly come face to face with yourself. This is your funeral 3 years from today. All these people have come to honor you, to express feelings of love and appreciation for your life. As you take a seat and wait for the services to begin, you look at the program in your hand. There are to be four speakers. The first is from your family. The second is from your friends. The third speaker is from your work or profession. And the fourth is from your church or some community organization where you've been involved in service. Now think deeply. What would you like each of these speaker to say about you and your life? What kind of husband, father, wife, or mother would you like their words to reflect? What kind of son or daughter or cousin? What kind of friend? What kind of working associate? So, all these things is part of the habit number two, which is begin with the end in mind. Habit number two applies to different circumstances and levels of life. But the most fundamental application of begin with the end in mind is to begin today with the image, picture, or paradigm of the end of your life as your frame of reference of the criterion by which everything else is examined. Each part of your life, today's behavior, tomorrow's behavior, next week's behavior, can be examined in the context of the whole, of what really matters most to you. By keeping that end in mind clearly, you can make certain that whatever you do on any particular day does not violate the criteria you have defined as supremely important, and that each day of your life contributes in a meaningful way to the vision you have in your life as a whole. So, to begin with the end in mind means to start with a clear understanding of your destination. It means to know where you're going so that you better understand where you are now and so that the next steps you take are always in the right direction. All things are created twice. So begin with the end in mind is based on principle that all things are created twice. There's a mental or first creation and a physical or second creation to all things. So rescripting. The two additional unique human endowments that enable us to expand our proactivity and to exercise personal leadership in our lives are imagination and conscience. So through this, we can rescript our personal lives. Through imagination, we can visualize the uncreated worlds of potential that lie within us. Through conscience, we can come in contact with the universal laws or principles with our own singular talents and avenues of contribution, and with the personal guidelines within which we can most effectively develop with them. Combined with self awareness, these two can help us to write our own script. A personal mission statement. So, the most effective way to begin with the end in mind is to develop a personal mission statement or philosophy or creed. It focuses on what you want to be, your character, and to do, your contribution and achievements, and on the values or principles upon which being and doing are based. So, our personal mission statement must begin at the very center of our circle of influence. That center composed of our most basic paradigms, the lens to which we see the world. Whatever is at the center of our life will be the source of our security, guidance, power, and wisdom. Security represents our sense of worth, our identity, our emotional anchorage, our self esteem, our basic personal strength or lack of it. The guidance, on the other hand, means our source of direction in life, encompassed by our map, our internal frame of reference that interprets for us what is happening out there, our standards, our principles, or implicit criteria that govern moment by moment decision making and doing. Wisdom is our perspective on life, our sense of balance, our understanding of how the various parts and principles apply and relate to each other. It embraces judgment, discernment, comprehension. It is a gestalt or oneness and integrated wholeness. Power, on the other hand, is the faculty or
It's
capacity to act, the strength
7.
and potency to accomplish something. It is the vital energy to make choices and decisions. It also includes the
And the
capacity to
executive.
overcome embedded habits and to cultivate higher, more effective ones. These four factors are
Assignments
interdependent.
only.
Security and clear guidance bring true wisdom, and wisdom becomes the spark or catalyst to release the direct power.
Because they are
When
15
these
already.
four
How
are
about
present together,
20% tariffs or
harmonized
whatever.
and
executive
enlivened by
as an
each other,
entrepreneur?
they create the great
Entrepreneurship
force of
is
a noble
very
personality, a
popular,
balanced
important
character, a beautiful
subject.
integrated individual.
Okay.
To end, when
Uh,
people seriously undertake to identify what really matters to them in
habit
their lives, what
1
they
and
really
2.
want to be and to
Doc,
do, they
Kalapar.
become reverent. They start to think
Thank
in
you so
larger
much, Doc.
terms than today and
Palapra.
tomorrow.
Palapar.
Thank you for listening.
Okay. You are connected with Central Mindanao
Galang
University.
po, Doc. Volunteer.
Yes,
Is
Doc.
it correct?
Galang.
Yes, Doc.
Okay. Do you propose that you will, or do you plan to stay there?
Doc.
Do you plan to
Hello,
stay
Doc. I
there until
volunteer for
retirement?
number 12, Doc.
My
Kalapar.
plan, personal plan, Doc, is I will just wait until 15 years of service in the government and I will have early retirement.
So how long have you been there?
I'm 10 years, but 2 years for that is a contract of service pa. So, so
You still have to stay there for some more years.
yes, Doc,
Okay.
because
What proactive plan that you will have today, since you will be staying there for another years? What proactive plan that you will have to institute today?
um, I am one of the scholars of our university. So I'm on a study leave. So one of my plans when I go back is to contribute in the particularly in our research and extension projects.
Anything that will be instituted by the university that can affect your qualification?
Doc?
Is there a plan of the university to be instituted that requires some qualifications? That's why you have to be planning for that.
Yes, Doc. There's a plan, part of our um, return service as a
Mhm.
scholar.
Okay. So maybe one thing that you will practice proactive is what if the CMU will require that all faculty members will be doctor degree holders. That you have to consider. Maybe that is the reason why you are enrolled now in the doctoral program. So
Yes.
aside from you plan to be more qualified so that your salary becomes high and that when you retire, the retirement is also high.
Yes, Doc.
Okay. But we do not know. There might be a plan of the university that 5 years from now, all faculty members must be doctors. Okay, just like now in the Visayas and in Luzon. For the past many weeks, there were so many typhoons. So many typhoons. Now, the typhoons hit Bicol region and Luzon. So those who are in the Visayas will now be preparing. We have to be proactive. What if the typhoons will start from the Pacific and hit the Visayas, which was the destination of typhoons before years back? Typhoons before always hit Surigao, Leyte, Bohol, Cebu, Samar. Okay. Now, Bicol region, Northern Mindanao, and no, Northern Luzon, and up to Batanes and also Taiwan. What if the path of the typhoon will now cross the Visayas? So we in the Visayas are preparing. We do not react. We do not do something when the typhoon hits us already. So we have to prepare that when the typhoon comes, we are safe. Okay, thank you. We will now go to the next report by Ruben.
Good afternoon, Doc. Tita Zen will share, Doc, because the signal here in Bukidnon is very low.
Tita Zendok is me. Okay, can you
Report
see it?
number 14.
Okay. Are we going to start na,
One,
Tita?
one.
Okay,
Okay. My report is about the two
Who
habits,
will take number 9?
habit
Is there
3 and
another one?
4.
Not,
Fourth, first
not
things
by,
first. I am Nova Medelo M. Rubin, an EDD ECE student. Habit 3 is the fourth first thing
9.
first principle of personal management, and habit 4 is think win-win principle of interpersonal leadership. Next, Tita. Okay, habit 3, next. Put first things first principle. Next, Tita. Okay, there are two questions that I put. Okay, what one thing could you do that if you did on a regular basis would make a tremendous positive differences of your personal life, and what one thing in your business or professional life would bring similar results? Okay, these are some of the questions in our mind about put first thing first. Okay, next. Okay, habit 3 is all about learning to prioritize and managing your time so that your first thing comes first, not last. It is the strength to say no to less important things and yes to more important things. Habit 3 is the practical fulfillment of habit 1 and 2. In habit 1, it says you are the creator. You are in charge. So habit 1 is the first mental creation based on imagination, the ability to envision what you can become. And habit 3 is the second creation, the physical creation. This habit is where habit 1 and 2 come together. It happens day in and day out, moment by moment, and it deals with many of the questions addressed around time management. Habit 3 is about life management as well. Your purpose, values, rules, and priorities. Okay, what are first things? These are things you find most worth. If you find first things first, you are organizing and managing time and set event according to the personal priorities established in habit 2. Underlying principles is effective requires balancing important relationship, rules, and activities. The key paradigm is I will focus on importance instead of urgency. I will fulfill my mission by acting on important goals in my life. Okay, next, Tita. Okay, there are 4 time quadrants in time management. So we're going to discuss the urgent and important. Urgent means it requires immediate attention. Urgent things act on us and are usually visible. For example, a ringing phone is urgent. Important things, on the other hand, have to do with results. It contributes to our mission, values, and high priority goals. We react to urgent matters, important values that are not urgent, require more initiative, more proactively. Um, Quadrant 1 is under procrastination. Exam tomorrow, friend gets injured, late for school, work, project due today, car breaks down. It talks about, example is, put things first, do everything at the last minute. The result in stress, anxiety, and burnout. In quadrant 2, the important is under important and non-urgent. The prioritizer, the result. Quadrant of excellent, got it together, look at everything they need to do, and then prioritize to make sure that first thing get done first and last thing done last. know how to say no with a smile, result in control of their life, balance, high performance. Quadrant 3 is the yes person. Example is try to person baktita. Tries to please other people, can say no because afraid of offending others, often cause to peer pressure, results in reputation of being a pleaser, lack of discipline. The quadrant 4 is the slacker, category of waste and exists to do much of everything that is unproductive. Results, lack of responsibility, guilt, and pluckiness. Okay, next dita. Next slide. Effective people in quadrant 2. Effective people have genuine quadrant 1 crises and emergencies that require their immediate attention, but the number is comparatively small. They focus on the important but not urgent activities of quadrant 2. Effective people say out of quadrant 3 and 4. Organize their life on weekly basis rather than daily basis. Next. How to become quadrant 2 self-manager. Okay. First is identify rules. As a family member, a husband or wife, mother or father, son or daughter, and so on. Similarly, in work environment, list down your rules in weekly basis. Second is select goals. Think of 2 or 3 important results you feel you should accomplish in each role during the next 7 days. Means again on weekly basis, at least some of these goals reflect quadrant 2 activities. The next one is say schedule. Then schedule the week ahead with your goals. Then adapt with quadrant 2 weekly organization, daily planning before become more a functions of daily adapting. Okay, the next one, the next one is tita. Okay. The next habit is the think win-win or principle of interpersonal leadership. Okay, next tita. Um, this habit is about seeking mutually beneficial solutions in all of our interactions. Stephen Covey argues that when we approach our relationship with a win-win mindset, we are able to create long-lasting, positive relationships that benefit everyone involved. Okay, okay, there are next is it is the habit of the third alternative. It is not my way, it is not your way, it is a better way. Okay, there are 6 paradigms of human interactions. The first one is the win-win. Both are win. Okay, win-win, people can seek mutual benefit in all human interaction. This requires principle-based behavior. Win-win is saying, I want both of us to benefit because we both need each other. This is the company that works to keep its customers returning each time. This is the friend who repays favor. The next the next is the both are lose. When people become obsessed with making the other person lose even at their own expense, this concept is most dramatically represented by MAD, mutually assured destruction. It's most likely to occur when two win-lose people interact. It is the eye for an eye makes the whole world blind kind of approach. The next one, number 3, is win or lose. The competitive paradigm. If I win, you lose. The leadership style is authoritarian. In relationship, if both people aren't winning, both are losing. The fourth one is win. Win is focusing solely on getting what one wants regardless of the needs of other. The win mentally means that you don't care whether someone else wins or loses. You only want to win. This is the self-centered approach. In fact, it is self-centered that no one else even exists. The the it's only getting what you want regardless of the cost. The lose or win, the dormant paradigm. The individuals seek strength from popularity based on acceptance. The leadership style is permissiveness. Leaving this paradigm can result in repressed resentment. So the last one is win-win or no deal. Win-win is saying, I want both of us to benefit because we both need each other. This is the company that wants to keep its customer returning each time. This is the friend who repays favors. This is the ongoing mutually beneficial relationship in which both parties work to make it work because it is good for both. Win-win or no deal says that regardless of whether I win or lose, if you don't win, we don't negotiate. We both have to win for this to work. No deal means that if we want both can find benefit, we agree to disagree. It is better to have no deal than to have a deal that is the beneficial to both. So next slide. There are five dimension of the win-win. First is the character. So the foundation is the integrity, maturity, and abundance mentality. Integrity is comes from habit 1, 2, and 3. The maturity is balance between feelings and convictions of each other, both parties. Abundance mentality out there for everyone. The second dimension is the relationship. The courtesy, respect, and appreciation for the other person and his point of view. Okay, the next one is the agreement. Agreement that give definition and direction to win-win, also called as performance or partnership agreement. There are five elements of agreements: desired result, guidelines, resources, accountability, and consequences. Okay. The fourth is the supportive systems. Reward system must reflect the values of the mission statement. Often the problem is in the system, not in the people. You have to water the flower you want to grow. So the last one is the processes. Okay, the route to win-win. First, set the problem from another point of view. The second is identify the key issues and concern involved. The third is determine what results would constitute a fully acceptable solutions. And the last is identify possible new options to achieve those results. Okay, and that's the end of my report. Thank you and
Okay.
afternoon.
Supposing you are to settle two personnel under your department. Okay. But before you call the two, you have to get information about what happened and ask about side A and side B. Now, in your conversation or dialogue with the two cannot agree because while one is insisting on this thing, the other also is insisting on another thing. What will you
Okay,
do
both are lost. Both are lost.
in order to get what you want on win-win?
Um,
Because in this particular habit, the executive should have win-win, that the two conflicting persons go out of your office happy because each one of them wins. But in the discussion, it was very difficult to make a decision because one is insisting on this one and the other
Yep.
also insisting of another one. And you cannot afford to say loss-loss. That is not ideal. It's not win-loss. It's not loss-win. It's not only win. It's not only loss, but win-win. What strategy will you use?
I need to listen to both sides, sir.
Of
Why
course,
is it that they
you're listening to both sides, but they cannot agree. What strategy will you use so that the two can agree and that the two will be happy?
okay.
Okay, so as an executive, you have to offer what is to be offered. Compromise. That is one weapon of the executive. Present compromise. So with the compromise, one and the other will agree So they get out of your office happy. Win-win. So one wins, the other wins, nobody loses. Okay, let us now go to Palapar. This will be our last because it is already 4:39, and I will give you what will happen next meeting. So Palapar for
Yes,
habit number
so
5 and habit number 6.
good afternoon once again. Is my screen visible? Okay, thank you, Sir Rene. I hope that my voice is clear and that my screen is clear also, since we are experiencing internet connection difficulties in Bukidnon. Even using my mobile data, we're still having a
Klaro
difficult
na.
time connecting. Yes po. Okay.
Mama, klaro na.
All right. So my topic this afternoon is habit 5. Seek first to understand, then to be understood. This is a principle of empathic communication. So let me ask you first, have you ever been in a conversation where the other person seemed uninterested or repeatedly didn't grasp your point? Perhaps you felt unheard and end up being frustrated, right? Now, you might think too that your feelings are being invalidated. Now, we do this usually in, let's say, friendships or relationships, that, hey, you're invalidating me. But actually, this is very common in a workplace. And I would be relating my experiences to my work, of course, in the field of education. And in the second scenario, have you ever been in a situation where the person truly understood your feelings and perspective? Wouldn't that completely transform the conversation? And this exemplifies the power of empathetic communication. Now, this is common to us, the word empathetic or empathy or empathic, but actually, this is not an easy thing to like to achieve in oneself. Not everyone can be empathetic, but many can be sympathetic. Now, there's a big difference between those two words. But anyway, I have here a picture. As you can see, there's a brain and there's a heart, and they're standing on a plank trying to balance it on a ball. Now, empathy is like a harmonious relationship between your heart and mind. It's more than just understanding, it's more than just knowing or listening, but it is like seeing someone in the eyes of others, or listening to someone in the ears of others, or maybe understanding the feelings of someone with their heart. Now, let me ask you, are you an empath? But this is not the supernatural like empath, but just the ability to deeply and genuinely understand other people and try to like be an open book to them about your feelings too. Now,
Excuse
there are
me,
three
is your
types.
slide moving?
Nasaan?
Yes, ma'am.
We are
It's not.
still seeing the first part, the
Yes, ma'am.
first
Oh
page.
no.
Kindly
I
click
think,
one by one, ma'am. Oh, yeah,
Alam mo,
that one.
aabutin
Allah,
sana
I've been
natin last
clicking
na
it
daw to.
ganina. I
I
guess
don't
I
think,
have
Eh,
to.
no,
okay
it's
lang.
fine. You
Sige,
can
sige ha,
just go.
pupunta ko dyan.
I guess I'll just do it like this na lang.
Yeah.
Oh no. All right. But anyway, let's go back here in the picture. You can see a brain and a heart balancing on a wooden plank, trying to balance it on top of a ball. So, yes, are you an empath? Are you able to balance your heart and mind whenever you're placed in a situation that requires it? So, I guess we'll find out. Now, here are three types of empathy. Can you see the slide moving na po?
Yes.
Hello? Ah, yeah. Thank you
Yes
Yes.
so
po, ma'am.
much, ma'am.
Moving na po, ma'am. It's
Thank you so
moving.
much. All right, now here are the three types of empathy. Before this report, I didn't know that there are types of empathy. I just thought that it's just a general term for everything. But the first one is emotional empathy, which is the ability to share or feel another person's feelings as if they were your own. And then we have the cognitive empathy, the capacity to understand another person's feelings and what they must be thinking. Now, the third one is like a combination of both. It's compassionate empathy, the ability to not only understand another's feelings, but also to feel compelled to help them. Now, that's the three types of empathy. Now, moving forward, this is the importance of empathy and communication. Now, Carl R. Rogers, a notable psychiatrist and the pioneer of person centered therapy, underscored empathy as a crucial element in therapeutic interventions. Now, before, the concept of empathy originally confined to therapy only. And realizing this, maybe that's why that whenever there are therapy sessions, the room is like very well lit and there's a sofa for the clients where sometimes the clients would lie down on the sofa bed making themselves comfortable, and then you have the therapist on the other side trying to be very honest and genuine, trying to be a good listener. So I guess um, that's the importance of being like being open and being empathetic, like you're trying to understand the person deeper, and that you're trying to feel what they're trying to feel. And it's a negative thing sometimes because you have to absorb everything, but again, if you know how to manage your feelings, your emotions, it could lead to productiveness in the workplace. And Rogers highlighted the transformative power of empathy in understanding and addressing clients' emotional states. And later on, expanded its relevance across various facets of life. Now, research has consistently shown that empathetic communication is instrumental in building stronger and healthier communications. Of course, as humans, we really don't want to immerse ourselves in a group of people who are trying to build high walls, right? Like, there are people who keep on holding back, who are having a hard time trying to be open, maybe because we have differences from the norms, from the experiences that we have, from our religious beliefs, from the traditions we have at home. But again, um, these studies indicate that when individuals feel understood and valued, it leads to more positive interactions and outcomes in various settings, from personal relationships to professional environments. And I can truly relate to this because, as a newly hired teacher way back in 2019, of course, I'm one of those people who's trying to set some walls. I'm still finding my way in the Department of Education and being immersed in a workplace that not everybody is like in the same age gap, I mean, age range as me. I'm really having a hard time communicating with other teachers. But then again, as we tried to communicate, we tried to share our experiences as years go by. Then later on, we finally like have this stronger bond, which started like 2 years ago. So I've been working in our school for 5 years, but it's just 2 years ago where where I can really say that our bond is really stronger and we became more productive in our department. Now, how to effectively foster empathy in your workplace? So, first is develop a culture of empathy. It involves fostering an environment where employees feel valued and understood. Of course, we want to feel valued and understood. It's a natural feeling. And then prioritizing empathy improves workplace dynamics and enhances employee engagement. So, here are the strategies you can apply in your workplace. Now, encourage open communication, train managers how to actively listen and recognize empathetic behaviors. Now, we practice this in school. We have this learning action cell sessions. It's like a school based training or seminars where we will tackle different activities on how to improve communication, teamwork, accountability, things like that. And then, second is to encourage team development. Encouraging team development helps build connections among team members by fostering meaningful interactions. Employees can better understand and support each other. Now, here are the things that you can do. Implement programs that facilitate regular team interaction, such as team building activities, and use social media platforms to set up casual meetups and meaningful conversations. Actually, in my 5 years as a teacher, I have only tried going out of town with my co teachers once. Like, we don't really do that every year, but some groups, because there are different like personal groups in our school, but like in our department, we went out of town once. And after that, I mean, we just went to Cagayan de Oro City because we're from Bukidnon. We traveled 3 hours to Cagayan. We went to Amaya, and it's like we are trying to satisfy the kid in us. And it was really a fun activity which led us to become closer to each other. And we also have activities in DepEd Valencia, such as Meet and Greet, which happens like once in a month, where teachers would spend like a half day in every Friday of that month to play some games, like any games, like parlor games, anything that can uplift the mood and can like stimulate friendship. Yeah, the like. And third is make communication easy and inclusive. Now, effective communication is key to fostering empathy, especially in remote or hybrid work environments. Ensure that all team members feel included and have access to communication channels. So, of course, we have to avoid intimidating employees, especially that there are some with the alpha character. I think we can always find a common ground and make employees feel that they belong, or make our coworkers feel that they belong. So I guess I'm done with the empathic communication. Now, moving forward with habit six, which is synergize principles of creative cooperation. Now, what is synergy? Now, try to look at the picture. It's like they are Power Rangers trying to, like, what they call this, transform? I don't know. But to put it simply, synergy means two heads are better than one. Synergize is the habit of creative cooperation. It is teamwork, open mindedness, and the adventure of finding new solutions to old problems. But it doesn't happen on its own. It's a process, and through that process, people bring all their personal experience and expertise to the table. Now, I'm not a math expert, but I have here a basic math equation. When we talk about 1 plus 1, yes, it will equal to 2. But it's different when we talk about compromise. This is the math in compromise. 1 plus 1 is equal to 1 or 1.5, because when we compromise, we simply like meet in the middle, or we sacrifice something to accommodate someone, things like that. Now, in synergy, it's better. It is 1 plus 1 equals 3 or more. I really hope that we get the point of the following equations. And I really appreciate synergy as I was trying to make this report. Now, try to picture this. If you put two pieces of wood together, they will hold much more than the total of the weight held by it each separately. 'Di ba? Sometimes nga if one slab of wood lang dali ra siya mabali, but if we will like nail them together, it will become more like durable or sturdy. Now that's the principle of synergy. The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. 1 plus 1 equals 3 or more. Now, where team synergy begins. We always start at building the right team. If you fail to do this, then I guess it's impossible to have synergy in your group. You need to work with people you can work with. People you can complement your like skills, where they do good, and then you build the team right. You set the right direction. And then after that, you can provide clarity to team members, which means assigning roles, trying to break down the parts where, what and where, I mean, what they will do and how they're going to do it. So that's where the team synergy begins. Again, build the right team, work with the right people. Next, ways to build team synergy. So we always start with communication. And after that, establish a communication guideline. And then, of course, promote active listening because communication is not a one way street. Aside from sharing our insights, we need to listen also to our group mates and then foster trust and collaboration. In a group, trust, honesty, and like genuine support is very important for us to achieve a transparent culture where everything is being laid out, and it's normal in a team if you will have like a disagreements. If you have disagreements, it doesn't mean you don't have synergy because it's really part of it. But as long as you don't take those disagreements personally or not making them like an issue, then that's good. It's actually a healthy disagreement and it's normal and it will actually make your team like closer together, stronger together. And then lastly, you are synergizing when you have a change of heart, feel new energy and excitement, see things in a new way, feel that the relationship has transformed, and of course, end up with an idea or a result that is better than what either of you started with. Thank you so much for listening. It was a brief report, but I hope it was impactful enough. And these are the references, so feel free to look at it in the stream. Again, thank you so much and have a great afternoon.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Number six, synergize. This is very necessary. Very necessary. This is collaboration, cooperation, understanding. And you mentioned about that phrase that the sum of the whole is equal to its parts, or the parts is equal or are equal to the whole. Now, is it correct to say, because you said 1 plus 1 equals 3, is it correct to say 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 1?
Doc, when you say 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals 1, I don't really think, Doc, na we are trying to deal with synergy. Maybe that's compromise, Doc, because we're just meeting halfway. Because if we talk about synergy, the sum will always be greater than the whole, Doc.
So how about that phrase saying the whole is equal to its parts?
I guess, Doc,
The whole is 1. And
yes,
parts
Doc, the
will be
whole
1,
is
2, and 3.
1. But I guess, Doc, the whole should always be bigger than the sum of each part, Doc, if we talk about synergy.
Yeah, okay. That's cooperation. And, in the 1970s, 1970, was it 1970s, martial law? Okay, martial law, 1972, and then when we overthrew Marcos, okay, That was one of the worst times in the banking system, okay, and also in industries. Because of that, there was stagnant economy in the Philippines, so that employees were asked whether they were amenable to working only half day, okay, or they will be working twice but paid one. So that can be also like that. Two working but equivalent to one. Okay. But this is on cooperation, which is very necessary. So there must be a very good relationship among people in the company. Otherwise, we cannot achieve this one. Okay. Now, it's 5 o'clock. The reporters' next meeting are all of you. Okay. In the morning, we will be listening to the reports of the following. So please listen very carefully. We will start with Galang, to be followed by Elio. Then Cagas, De Jesus, Bukayan, Mapala, Gallinero, Ligan, Magpali. We hope we can finish this in the morning. Limit not to exceed 20 minutes. And in the afternoon, we go back to the reporters today. Okay. Villamera, you will take effective master of ceremony.
Where is, me?
Okay. Okay. You don't like? Okay. So we'll give
No,
that.
no, I'm just asking, Doc. I thought we only report two.
That was announced before that there should be 2 rounds because you are only very few.
Two
Okay.
rounds. Oh, okay.
So
Okay.
let us give to Peralta, Master of Ceremonies, how to become a good Master of Ceremonies. Okay. Maybe how to become a chairman of a meeting by Villamera because you don't like the first one.
No, I was just so shocked, Doc. Kadu- Okay, no.
So you like to have that Master of Ceremonies?
It's okay. I don't mind, Doc. Anything, Doc.
That's why you like that or not?
I can do it, Doc.
Huh?
Yes, Doc. Yes.
Okay. That was announced in the beginning. I'm surprised why
That's
you
okay,
said
Doc.
that. Because I announced that in the beginning that there will be 2 rounds.
Yes, I thought the two rows is what you will report two topics at
Chairman
once.
of a meeting by Peralta.
Okay.
Okay. Then practice of good grooming by Miranda.
Noted, Doc.
Ramirez, practice of good table manner. Donatos, the practice of handling calls. Stotsky,
Doc, excuse me, Doc, the practice
professionalism.
of Donatos,
Again,
Doc, practice of
practice of handling calls. How to handle calls.
calls. Okay, Doc, copy, Doc.
7.6, that is Stotsky, professionalism in doing work. Okay. Tabaw, health and wellness. Okay. Bolkerin, personality development. Rubin, emotional quotient. Then, of the Palapar, stress management. 7.9. Okay. Then, Galang, up to Magpali, you will report this in the last meeting. In the morning and in the afternoon, we will tackle the cases. Okay. So,
What what will be my
Galang,
report, Doc? Yes.
Galang is assigned to uh, 10. Excuse me. Palapar, that is stress management. Galang, time management.
Copy, Doc, copy.
Elio, total quality management. Okay. Then, Kagas, management by objectives. Okay. De Jesus, conflict management. Then, Bukayan, change management. Mapala, the 1 minute manager.
Copy, Doc. Thank you.
Okay. Then, Gallinero, are you, can you tackle this, the AI, trends and challenges? Wilson? From Gallinero, Ligan, and Magpali, anybody from the three of you who would like to present?
Sir, I can take AI, sir. Magpali, Doc.
Magpali, okay, very good. AI,
Yes,
that
Doc.
is 7.7. Okay.
Thank you, Doc.
Then, Gallinero, we have sensitivity sessions. Sensitivity sessions to finish module 8. And then for Ligan, formal and informal approaches to growth and development. Formal and informal approaches to growth and development. That is on module 8. Okay. So next meeting, we will have Galang, Elio, Kagas, Jesus, Bukayan, Mapala, Gallinero, Ligan, Magpali, and then in the afternoon, let us start with Villamira, and followed by Peralta, Miranda, Ramirez, Donatos, Skutsky, Tabaw, Bulkirin, Ruben, and Palapar. That is if we can finish. And in the last meeting, in the morning, and if there are some remaining ones, this will be also in the morning of the last meeting. Our last meeting is November
24.
November 24. Our next meeting is October 27. Okay. So in the last meeting in the morning, we have Galang, Elio, Kagas, Lisos, Bukayan, Mapala, Gallinero, Ligan, Magpali. Okay, and then in the afternoon, we will have the case analysis. So by this time, you can ask any one of your classmates to be your pair. We will be having around 10 cases. So, and we cannot afford to have one case for each because we have only around 10 or 11 or 12 cases. We got one case this morning, so only 11 are left. So there should be two for every case. Okay, are you ready to have your partner now? Or not yet?
Ready, Doc?
Ready, Doc.
Okay, ready?
Yeah, Doc.
Yes, Doc.
First pair, Usman.
On, Doc. Kagas Gallinero, Doc.
Okay, so from Liceo.
Yes, Doc.
Okay. Kagas. Okay. This will be put on screen by our able office director.
Hello, sir. Kitsa ganito ang kuan, sir?
Okay. Kagas Gallinero.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Their case, sorry boss, but you are wrong. Sorry boss, but you are wrong. So you might be asked to attend a meeting called by the chairman, Dr. Elias. She will be talking something. You will stand up and say, Madam, I'm sorry, you are wrong. Okay. I can imagine what will happen. Okay. Might X, right. Okay, next pair.
Miranda and Magpali, Doc.
Okay. Miranda and Magpali.
Oh, wait lang, sir.
Yes, Doc.
For a while, sir, kaya ako is slide,
Okay. Because show ni Madam Yodang ang cases. Case number 2 by Miranda and Magpali. Might makes right.
Sa Doc? Ano sabi?
Might makes
Might?
right. Okay. Gusto ba? Right. Might makes right. Okay. Another group.
Peralta
Jesus
and
in Bukayan,
Villamera,
Doc.
Doc.
Who?
Peralta
Mike
and
right.
Villamera.
Peralta and?
Villamera.
Okay. So this is correct. What's the nickname of Villamera? My wife was
Zenny, Doc. Zenny.
Dini? Ini.
My nickname, Doc, Inday Zenny. Inday Zenny.
Okay. Because my wife was asking to ask you what is your nickname. Okay. So that he can
Inday Zenny, Doc.
talk also to our friends in Canada. Okay.
Oh, okay. Inday Zenny.
Peralta and Villamera.
Yes, Doc.
Your case is she cannot just do the job. She
Ang kinsa
can
na, sir?
She cannot.
Ang Villamera, sir? Abi ako Mike. Dili ko.
She cannot just do the job.
Just
Peralta and Villamera. Okay, another one.
Donatos Ramirez, Doc.
Jesus in Bukayan, Doc.
Donatos and
Ramirez.
Ramirez. Your case is outright piracy.
Copy, Doc.
Outright piracy. Okay.
Piracy.
Okay, nakikisa na. Outright piracy. Okay, next group.
Palapar and Ruben, Doc.
Palapar and
Ruben, Doc.
Ruben. Okay.
Donatos and
Your case.
partner, sir?
Your case is great expectation.
Doc.
Great expectation.
Noted, Doc. Thank you so much.
Okay. Next group.
Jesus in Bukayan, Doc. Jesus in Bukayan.
Okay, again.
Doc.
Bukayan and
Jesus in Bukayan, Doc.
De Jesus and Bukayan. Okay. De Jesus. Bukayan. Sam Sawyer. That is your report. Sam Sawyer. Do you have? Okay, that's the case. Okay, another group.
Mapala and Chunso, Doc.
Who?
Mapala and Tabaw, sir.
Mapala and
Tabaw.
Mapala. Again, and Mapala and
Tabaw, Doc.
Tabaw. Okay. Your case is handling office flirts. Okay, handling the office flirt.
Yeah.
Mapala and Tabaw. Okay. Another group. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Another group.
Galang, Doc, pero wala ko'y partner.
Wapa.
Si Ligi daw, ma'am.
Galang and
First ka ng
Ligi
kompleto.
daw, ma'am.
Ka ng kompleto. Next group.
Galang and
Ligan eh, ma'am.
Ma'am Galang. Pwede to.
Galang and
Ligan.
Ligan.
Kami, Doc. Galang and Ligan, Doc.
Galang and Ligan. Okay, your case, doing more harm than good. Doing more harm than good. Causing more harm than good, that's correct. Causing more harm than good. Not doing, causing. Causing more harm than good. Okay.
Okay, noted, Doc.
So another one.
Wala pa ka partner yet.
Next group.
Boyfriend, daw, pero wala pa kay partner.
Wala sa ko'y partner, ma'am. Basi kita, okay ka.
Wala, ma'am.
Kita na lang, ma'am.
Kita na, ma'am.
Okay
So,
po.
Bulgarian, sir.
Bulgarian and
Ilyo.
Ilyo, right.
Ito, ma'am, Ilyo.
Okay po.
Your
Salamat
case
po.
is the manager who panics. The manager who panics. That's the one. Yun na to.
That's me.
That one. The manager who panics. That's the one.
Copy po.
Copy, daw.
Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So there is one. There is one not assigned.
Stutsky, Doc.
Ah, yeah, okay. Skutsi, I think you like to have one. Okay, Paris, you have no.
But there's nobody left.
Okay, so you will be alone. You will be alone.
Okay.
Is that okay with you?
Oh, perfect.
There's no other.
Sir.
Okay.
Expectation, sir.
Okay, let us, because there are three remaining one, the disorganized manager correcting one's error. Okay, correcting one's error. Skutski.
Got it, Doc.
Ay, na, una, pa ba na? Correcting one's error.
Sir, lang ha.
Wala, no more?
Naampa na sir.
We can change that.
Okay, sir. Naan sa ko laptop.
Okay, the manager who panics. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So we cannot find correcting one
Naa,
error.
sir, na, sir.
Huh?
Naa siya.
So that can be given to Joseph.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So Joseph, your case is correcting one's error. So again, sorry boss, but you are wrong. By Cagas and Gallinero. Might makes right. By Miranda and Magpali. She cannot just do the job. Peralta and Villamera. Outright piracy by Donatos and Ramirez.
Yes, Doc.
Great expectation by Palapar and Rubin. Some swear by Bukayan and De Jesus. The manager who panics by Volkerin and Elio. Handling office flirts. Mapala and Tabaw. causing more harm than good by Ligan and Galang, and correcting one's error by Joseph Satsky. Okay, in case we cannot find that case, there's another one, a question of motivation. But it's good to have the correcting one's error. Okay, so it's 5:19. Okay, so again, next meeting, we will start with Galang, Elio, Cagas, De Jesus, Bukayan, Mapala, Gallinero, Ligan, and Magpali in the morning. In the afternoon, okay, Villamera, Peralta, Miranda, Ramirez, Donatos, Stotsky, Tabak, Bokirin, Robin, and the other one. Is that it? Is the last one? Palapar. Oh no. Is that correct? Yeah. Palapar. Okay. In case we cannot finish those who are assigned in the morning, we can move some to the afternoon. And in case we cannot finish those assigned in the afternoon, we can move that to the morning of the last meeting together with the other reporters so that we can concentrate on the analysis of the cases in the afternoon. Okay. We have 9 cases, 9 to 10 cases. So the same 20 will be enough. 20 minutes, 5 minutes presentation to 10, and then questions, discussion for another 10 minutes. Okay. So thank you for your attendance and congratulations to all the reporters. You have done a lot of good things, and I can feel that a good time was used in the research to come up with your very nice reports. Okay, I'm impressed what you have done. Okay, complete discussion or complete coverage of every report. So, reporters, congratulations and thank you. See you again on October 27.
Thank
October
you, Doc. Good
Thank you,
night.
Doc.